Hello ladies, welcome to the code G.E.N, G.E.N, which stands for Growth Embodiment Now. We will grow, we will embody, and we will do it now. We will go deep, very deep, and trust me, I didn't listen to my intuition until I stopped listening to my intuition. I am Adriana Rustki, transformation coach, soul healer, and unofficial translator of the things that your intuition's been trying to tell you for, let's be honest, years. This space is for women like you. Smart, accomplished, capable. You've done that thing. Career, family, responsibilities, but lately something's been whispering. Wait a second, whose light is this again? If you've catch yourself wondering, what do I actually want? Why am I so good at taking care of everyone except myself? Is it too late to completely rewrite the script? Let me be the first to say, nope. No, it's not too late. We are not too much. And yes, there is more, so much more. Here in the G.E.N, we blend real talk with real transformation. We'll unpack the sneaky family patterns, dissolve the guilt, clear the inherited BS, if you know what I mean, and help you remember who you were before the world told you who to be. So, my love, kick off your high heels, leave your bra in the closet. You are not here to perform. You're here to come home, to your body, to your truth, to that inner voice that's quietly plotting your glow up. Ready? Let's begin. Hello, gorgeous, and welcome back to the G.E.N. Let's grow, let's embody, and let's do it now. So, I'm gonna ask you to take a really deep breath, deep into your belly. Keep it for a few moments. And exhale. Take one more. Deep to your belly. Keep it for 6 seconds. And one more. Inhale. And exhale. Because today, everything you thought about yourself might change. In the last episode, we talked about the backpack, about the weight you've been carrying, not just your own, but your mother's, your grandmother's, great-grandmother's, your lineage. And maybe something shifted for you. Maybe you realized this isn't all mine. But today, we go deeper. Because here is the real question. If this was inherited, can I actually change it? Yes. There comes a moment in women's life that does not arrive with noise, drama, or visible change, and yet it quietly reshapes everything she thought she knew about herself because it appears in a space that opens only after something heavy has finally been released. You may not recognize it at the first moment because it does not feel like a celebration or relief, but rather like a strange, unfamiliar stillness, as if something that once defined you is no longer there, and yet nothing new has taken its place. It's the moment when you realize that the way you used to think, react, or even feel safe is no longer available to you because it belonged to a version of you that you have just outgrown. And in that silence, which can feel both peaceful and unsettling at the same time, a question begins to rise slowly, almost carefully, as if it has been waiting for years to finally be asked. Who am I when I'm no longer acting from what I have always known? These questions is not a problem to solve quickly, but an invitation to pause, because for many women who have spent decades doing everything right, this moment is not breakdown, but the beginning of something far more honest. For a very long time, you may have believed that your reaction, your emotion, and even the way you see the world are fixed parts of who you are. Because the sentence, "this is just who I am," sounds so natural and so familiar that it rarely invites you to question it. However, when you begin to look more closely, you may notice that this belief quietly closes the door to change because it suggests that everything you feel and everything you do comes from your true essence rather than from your pattern that were learned over time. What often feels like your personality is, in reality, a collection of responses that were shaped by your environment, your family, and the emotional experiences you had to adapt to, especially in the moments when being yourself did not feel safe or accepted. When you understand this, something important begins to shift because you realize that what you once thought was permanent may actually be flexible, and what feel like your identity may actually be a program that has been running in the background for years. And this is where one of the most freeing realizations becomes available. You are not simply the way you are. You have been programmed to respond in a certain way. This doesn't make you weak. It makes you human. And more importantly, it makes change possible. If you imagine your body as a house with many rooms, some filled with light and others still closed or only partially explored, it becomes easier to understand how your inner world actually works. Your DNA is like the structure of that house, something you inherit, something that gives you form, but the way this house is lived in, experienced, and expressed continues to change based on what happened inside it. Epigenetics, in very simple terms, explains what your DNA does not operate in a fixed, unchangeable way, but responds to your environment, your emotional experiences, and the meaning you gave to those experiences. This means that while you may inherit certain tendencies, such as how your body responds to stress, how you relate to others, or how safe you feel in the world, these tendencies are not permanent destinies, but rather patterns that can shift when the conditions around them change. And here is where it becomes deeply personal. You inherit more than physical traits. You also inherit emotional responses, relational habits, and even unspoken beliefs about what is possible for you as a woman. And you have to know, at first, this may feel limiting because it suggests that some of what you experienced did not start with you. But if you stay with this idea a little bit longer, it becomes incredibly empowering. Because anything that was activated under certain conditions can also be transformed when those conditions are changed. You may find yourself living a life that from the outside looks complete, stable, and even successful, and yet inside there is a quiet feeling that something is missing, something that cannot be explained by what you have or have achieved. You may notice that you give deeply to others, but struggle to truly receive, or that you love sincerely, but still feel a subtle emotional distance that you cannot fully explain. You may reach goals that Once seemed important, only to discover that fulfillment does not automatically follow, leaving you wondering why something still feels incomplete. This does not mean that you are ungrateful or that you made wrong choices, but rather that your system is responding based on familiar patterns instead of present reality. Your body continues to recognize what it has learned as safe, even if that safety comes at the cost of your truth, your needs, and your deeper sense of self. The moment you begin to see that your reactions are not fixed truths, but expressions of patterns, you step into a completely new space, one where something that once felt automatic becomes conscious. And in that space, something powerful appears. Choice. Not the kind of choice that comes from pressure or expectation, but quiet, grounded decision that reflects who you are becoming rather than who you have been. And you have to know, this is not about becoming someone new, but about finally allowing yourself to be guided by something deeper than habit, something that has always been present within you. Try this. As you gently close your eyes and bring your attention inward, you may begin to notice that what you carry is not just in your thoughts, but also in your body, often showing up as tension, tightness, or sensations that feel so familiar that you no longer question them. Instead of trying to immediately change what you feel, allow yourself to stay present with it, because awareness alone begins to shift the information your system receives. When you stop resisting and start observing, your body no longer needs to hold on the same way, and space begins to open naturally. And now please remember that your body doesn't change through logic alone, because it responds far more deeply to emotional experience than to words or concepts. This is why consciously allowing yourself to feel new emotional states is one of the most powerful ways to create change. Over time, many people operate within a very narrow emotional range, repeating the same reactions again and again and again, which makes life feel predictable and difficult to shift. However, there are hundreds of emotional states available to you. And when you begin to introduce new ones intentionally, your internal environment starts to change. As you allow yourself to feel safety, not as something depend on external conditions, but as something that can exist within you, and as you begin to experience freedom as the ability to choose, self-trust as a quiet inner stability, joy as something that can exist even in small moments, and worthiness as something that does not need to be earned, you begin to create new internal foundation. And as this space opens, it becomes essential to consciously feel it, because your system doesn't respond to emptiness, but to what is present. As you begin to experience yourself differently, even in stable ways, a process has already begun. One that is not about fixing what was wrong, but about creating something new with awareness. You are not someone who needs repair, but someone who holds the ability to choose a new direction. And perhaps the most important question you can now ask yourself is this: who do I choose to become now that I know I can. Yes, my love. If you allow yourself to change, everything will change. That's why now I invite you to pause for a moment. Gently close your eyes and allow yourself to step out of thinking and into feeling. This moment is not about understanding anything logically. It's about allowing your body to soften and your system to receive something new. Begin by taking slow, gentle breath in through your nose, allowing the air to fill your chest and your belly naturally. As you inhale, silently count to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Then hold your breath softly for just 4 seconds. 1, 2, 3, 4. And now exhale slowly through your mouth, counting to 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yes. Allow the exhale to be longer than inhale, as if you are releasing tension from your body. Repeat this again, letting your shoulders relax, your jaw soften, and your belly gently expand and release. And now allow your breath to return to its natural rhythm while you simply observe. And now bring your awareness into your body. Instead of thinking, I want you to gently ask yourself, where in my body do I feel tension when I think about my life? Allow your body to answer you rather than your mind. You may notice tightness in your chest, heaviness in your stomach, or subtle pressure in your throat. Stay with that sensation. And now ask yourself another question. What I believe is connected to this feeling? Let the first sentence arise, even if it feels uncomfortable or unfamiliar. You may notice something like, I'm not enough. I have to earn love. I cannot be fully myself. Other people matter more than I do. It is too late for me. And as you notice this, I want you to understand something very important. This is not your truth. This is a program that your system has learned to repeat. Now, let's move into transformation. You don't need to force anything to happen. You only need to allow yourself to receive. Gently repeat either in your mind or out loud. Creator of all that is, please show me how it feels to be enough without proving myself, to feel safe being fully who I am, to receive love without earning it, to choose myself without guilt. Please show me what it feels like to live in ease, in calm, and in trust. Thank you. It's done. Now allow these new states to being to appear in your body, even if they feel subtle at first. This is not about thinking differently. This is about feeling differently. Slowly repeat, I'm enough exactly as I am. This is safe for me to be myself. My needs matter. I'm free to choose a new way. I'm allowed to receive. And as you say those words, allow them to move into your body, into sensation, into the places where real change happens. Take a deep breath in now. And as you exhale, imagine that these new feelings begin to expand through your entire body. Let them move through your chest, your stomach, your shoulders, your arms, as if your system is slowly learning a new way to being. What you have just done is not simply a relaxation exercise. You have begun to shift the information your body responds to. And for this moment forward, you have access to a different choice. Not because you forced change, but because you allow something new. You don't need to understand everything, believe me. You only need to feel and choose differently. If this episode touched something within you, I invite you to stay with this space, to continue this journey, and to share it with someone who may also be ready to understand herself in a deeper way. Thank you for spending this time with me today. Remember, you are not behind, you are not too late, and you are not too much. You are exactly where you're meant to be. Take your insights, breathe them in, and let them move with you into your thoughts, your choices, your life. If this episode touched you, subscribe to the Code G.E.N. Share it with your best friend, your sister, your mother, your lovely auntie. Share it with a woman who needs this reminder, and let's spread this ripple of freedom together. And if your heart is whispering, I want more, this is your invitation. Join me for my signature 90-day transformational journey, Unlock Your Life Code. One-on-one mentoring designed to help you break the circle, embody your truth, and create the life you've been waiting for. The link is in the show notes. Because this is not just transformation. This is reclamation. This is embodiment. This is now. With all love, Adriana. See you in next episode.